the most dangerous person in any room. Not the one yelling it's the one who says nothing and just watches. We've been told silence is weakness. But what if silence is the most powerful move you'll ever make? In a noisy world obsessed with clapping back, the one who says less often controls the room. The strongest force isn't the one that shouts the loudest. It's the one that doesn't need to. In a world addicted to quick comebacks, public call-outs, and constantly proving your worth, staying silent can feel like defeat. From a young age, we're taught to fight back when we're disrespected, to raise our voices when we're ignored, to prove people wrong when we're doubted. But what if real power doesn't come from resistance, but from restraint? This is the paradox most people never understand. True dominance isn't about reacting to others, it's about mastering yourself. And that's where Niccolò Machiavelli steps in, that infamous philosopher of power, control, and strategy. Machiavelli knew something most people today still miss. He didn't believe in brute strength alone. He believed in managing perception, in controlling emotions, in being deliberate with reactions. He once wrote in The Prince, "It is better to be feared than loved, if you cannot be both." But don't confuse fear with violence. He wasn't talking about fists. He was talking about precision, timing, and above all, silence. Today, we dive into 6 silent rules that build total dominance. These aren't tricks. They're not games. They are weapons of calm, strength, and quiet transformation. Because becoming unshakable doesn't come from overpowering others. It comes from refusing to let others overpower you. So before we begin, ask yourself, are you ready to stop reacting and start rising? If yes, drop this affirmation in the comments. Silence is my strongest move. And don't forget, like, comment, and subscribe to Life Through Stoicism. Stay with me through every section, because each one builds upon the next. This isn't just advice, it's a roadmap to inner power. Rule number 1, stop explaining yourself, British statesman. Benjamin Disraeli once said, never complain, never explain. One of the quietest but most lethal forms of power is simply walking away from the need to be understood. Most people are addicted to explanations. They justify their every move. They over-explain why they said no, why they changed paths, why they let someone go. But each time you do this, you're handing over pieces of your power, saying your opinion matters more than my peace. True dominance begins when you stop doing that. Think about it. Have you ever seen someone make a bold decision without offering a single reason? They just did it. No apology, no defense. That kind of presence. It's magnetic, mysterious, even intimidating. That's the power of minimalism in action. It doesn't beg to be validated. It doesn't seek approval. It just moves with clarity. Machiavelli understood this deeply. He advised rulers to be decisive, but to keep their motives hidden. If people don't know why you do what you do, they can't predict you, can't control you, can't play you. That unpredictability, that's dominance. And here's the truth. In your real life, maybe you're changing in silence. Maybe you're building new habits, walking away from old patterns, distancing yourself from toxic circles. And maybe people are starting to notice. They're asking questions. They're doubting you, whispering behind your back. Don't explain. Let time answer them. Every explanation you offer is like poking holes in a dam you're building. And that dam, it's holding back something massive. Let them wonder, let them guess. Because people fear what they can't figure out. They can dismiss what they fully understand. but they'll never underestimate the quiet storm moving with purpose. You see, once you stop explaining yourself, something shifts. You begin to feel it. The weight of needing approval falls away, and in its place rises an untouchable calm. Here's a truth no one tells you. The strongest people often walk away from arguments they could easily win. Why? Because peace is more valuable than pride. Because they understand a reaction is a distraction. And if someone really needed to know why you made your move, chances are they were never moving with you to begin with. This kind of silence isn't weakness, it's a weapon. You don't owe them an explanation. You owe yourself results. Rule number 2, let their ego bury them. Bonaparte once said, when the enemy is making a false move, don't interrupt him. Think about that. Dominance isn't always about pressing forward. Sometimes it's about holding position. It's about being still, strategically still while others sabotage themselves. Because ego, it's like a blindfold. And the most dangerous people in any room are the ones who are completely unaware that they're not as invincible as they think. So here's the rule. When someone disrespects you, underestimates you, or tries to provoke you, don't correct them. Don't try to prove them wrong. Let them believe whatever they want. Let them think you're weak. Let them laugh. Let them relax. Let them drop their guard. Then rise. Machiavelli didn't value appearances because they were fake. He valued them because they were strategic, to appear weaker than you truly are, to act less aware than you actually are. That gives you access. It gives you clarity. It gives the other side enough space to reveal their intentions without even knowing it. That's real power. Resisting the temptation to prove yourself. Because the moment you feel the need to prove anything, you're already on their level. And if their level is ruled by ego, then guess what? They've been playing that game far longer than you. Let them keep talking. Let them underestimate. Let them misread your silence as stupidity. Because while they're performing for the crowd, you're preparing for the next level. You'll see this everywhere in careers, relationships, even social dynamics. Someone thinks they've won. They flaunt their status. They mock your silence. But if you stay grounded, calm, intentional, quiet, they begin to unravel. The louder they get, the more you start to see their cracks. Their ego turns from armor to a spotlight exposing everything they tried to hide. And eventually, they self-destruct. Have you ever seen someone get too comfortable, so sure you weren't a threat? They start getting sloppy. It happens all the time. In those moments, you face a choice. Do you match their energy or master your own? Always choose mastery, because you don't dominate the chessboard by moving every piece at once. You win by letting your opponent believe you're losing, just before you strike with precision. Let their ego build the stage. You wait calmly for the curtain to fall. Rule number 3. Success is the only response. There's a line in The Dark Knight where the Joker says, if you're good at something, never do it for free. Now, let's talk about the most powerful silent move of all. Leveling up so loud, you never have to say a word. There's something poetic about being so locked into your own growth that you stop reacting to the noise around you. People throw shade. You build. People question your worth. You build. They start rumors, provoke you, try to draw you out. You keep building. That's the formula. Machiavelli knew that perception was everything. He warned leaders, don't waste time defending your name just achieve in ways that silence the critics for you. In other words, don't talk about power. Build it, and here's the painful part. The most misunderstood people in the world are those in the middle of their transformation. You're not who you used to be, but you're not quite where you're going either. So what happens? People judge, they doubt you, they laugh, they downplay. And in that fragile, uncertain space most people collapse, but not you. Your mission is to build in the dark. Don't announce every move. Don't post every plan. Don't fight back. Let your progress make the noise. Let your transformation humiliate their assumptions. And here's what you'll notice. When you're truly evolving, truly leveling up, pew, get quieter. Not because you're scared, but because now you're too focused to waste time explaining. When you stop explaining, when you stop defending, something beautiful happens. You begin to transform in silence. And here's what you slowly realize. Silence isn't empty. It's focused. It's alive. It's full of movement. Real change, the kind that actually rewires your soul, doesn't shout. It doesn't need an audience. It moves quietly, deeply, below the surface. While the world keeps talking, you may feel invisible right now. That's okay. It's part of the design. Think of a caterpillar. It doesn't scream before it becomes a butterfly. It retreats. It isolates. It transforms in the dark. And when it re-emerges, it doesn't say a word. Its wings do all the talking. Be that let. People wonder what you're working on. Let them guess, speculate, even laugh. Because one day, just a few months from now, when you walk into the room, they'll go silent. Not because you bragged. Not because you proved a point, but because you became. This is how the truly powerful rise. Not with noise, not with explanations, but with undeniable transformation. So I want you to drop this affirmation in the comments. Success is my only response. Rule number 4. Disappear to rise. Marcus Aurelius once said, withdraw into yourself. It is in the silence that you will find strength. Sometimes, the most powerful move isn't to fight or confront, it's to step away. Not out of anger, not out of weakness, but out of strategy. There comes a point in your journey where your growth no longer fits the room you're in. The conversations feel shallow. The energy feels heavy. The goals around you are too small. That's when it's time to disappear. But here, this isn't isolation. It's incubation. Even Machiavelli warned rulers about the danger of the crowd. He saw that the masses are fickle. They cheer you today and betray you tomorrow. That's why real leaders govern from a distance, not because they're arrogant, but because they understand the importance of preservation. Distance creates perspective, and perspective creates power. There's something sacred about stepping back. You stop reacting. You stop performing. You stop feeding the noise. And in that stillness, you reconnect with your purpose, your vision, your truth. But society hates when you go quiet. Why? Because silence makes you unpredictable. And unpredictable people, they can't be controlled, so people will guilt you. They'll say you've changed, that you're different now. Good. That's the point. You're not meant to stay in the same cycles. Not meant to be available for the same gossip, drama, or distractions. Your withdrawal is your weapon. Use it wisely. When you're off the radar, you stop comparing, you stop chasing, and you finally start hearing your own voice again. And when you return, if you choose to, you come back sharper, calmer, more focused than ever. People won't recognize you, and they shouldn't. Let the old version of you rest in peace. You don't owe anyone access to your healing. You don't have to announce every breakthrough. Just vanish. Then reappear like the moon behind the clouds. emerging brighter, fuller, and absolutely undeniable. If that speaks to you, write this in the comments. I disappear to rise higher. Rule number 5. Don't react, record. Lao Tzu once said, "He who controls others may be powerful, but he who has mastered himself is mightier still." There's a reflex most people never outgrow, the need to react. Someone insults you, you clap back. Someone doubts you, you prove yourself. Someone you jump to defend. But here's the unspoken rule. Every reaction is a transaction, and you pay with your power. Machiavelli understood this deeply. Emotions cloud judgment. The ruler who reacts impulsively is easy to manipulate. But the ruler who stays quiet, who observes, who stores information for the right moment, he becomes deadly. Think about it. The most dangerous person in any room isn't the loudest. It's not the most aggressive. It's the one who's still calm, watching. They're not reacting. They're taking notes, studying patterns, collecting data, and when the moment comes, while others are reacting impulsively, you are learning how to observe. You don't need to speak loudly because you are building your strategy in silence. And when the time comes, you will move with terrifying precision. That's the path you're on now. You don't argue with fools, you study them. You don't strike back when attacked, you analyze. You don't respond to every jab, you store it. For the moment it becomes useful leverage. This isn't passiveness. It's being strategic with intention. Every step, every pause, it's all calculated. And this applies to every part of life, in relationships. When someone tries to gaslight you or manipulate your emotions, don't engage. In debate, just observe, watch their behavior, memorize their patterns, because patterns never lie. In work, when someone tries to undermine you, don't react emotionally. Log it mentally, study their moves, and then outmaneuver them when the timing is perfect. In public, when someone tries to embarrass you in front of others, stay composed. Let them expose themselves, because their insecurity is speaking louder than anything they say about you. This isn't about being cold. It's about being clear. You're not a puppet. You're not on strings. No one gets to pull your reaction. Your true power lies in this. You choose when, how, and even if you respond. Because while they're reacting to every distraction, you're building something bigger. You're creating a memory bank, a long-term strategy, a legacy, and when you finally make your move, it will be so precise, so effective, they'll think it was luck. But it won't be luck. It will be restraint. Rule number 6. Kill them with indifference. Chekhov once wrote, "To be insulted by a fool is a pleasure." There comes a point in your evolution where you no longer feel the disrespect. Not because people have stopped trying, but because you've stopped caring. And that moment, that's real dominance. You've probably heard the phrase, "Kill them with kindness," but kindness still costs you energy. It still acknowledges them. What if you went a step further? What if you killed them with indifference? That is the final form of power. Apathy toward the meaningless. Machiavelli advised rulers to appear virtuous, but only act when it served their long-term interest. He taught them to ignore minor insults, irrelevant battles, and distractions that didn't serve the mission. Not because they were weak, but because they were focused. The truth is, not everything deserves your energy. Not every insult needs a comeback. Not every rumor is worth defending. The most powerful people understand this. Their value is not up for debate and indifference. It's terrifying to the insecure, They want to see you flinch. They want to see you break character. But when you don't, they start to unravel. Think about it. When someone tries to provoke you and you simply smile, nod, or walk away, what happens? They escalate, get louder, more dramatic. Why? Because your silence is deafening. It says, I'm not on your level. That's what real dominance looks like. Not noise, not revenge, but the cold, quiet decision to not even acknowledge the attempt. Let them talk. Let them try to provoke you. Let them wonder why you're not affected. Let them obsess over your silence. While they spiral, you build. You've mastered your reactions, your presence, your peace, and that kind of control. It cannot be challenged. It cannot be faked. It cannot be bought. It is earned through emotional discipline.